both our hands and our hearts. Continue to pour your blessings upon us, your humble servants. As we gather today, fill us with your Holy Spirit. Feed us with your love. Guide us with your wisdom. And lead us in unity as we move to your important work of justice, now and forever. Amen.
So my name is James Popiwa, and I'm a staff member for the National Domestic Workers Alliance. And I'm also the campaign director for the Illinois Domestic Workers Bill of Rights. Welcome, all of you, today. How many caregivers do we have in the room? Stand up if you are a caregiver. Make yourself known. How many housekeepers do we have here? Excellent. Nannies. Domestic workers from all walks of life are here today, and I am so honored and proud to be able to speak in front of a group of women that are so strong and so powerful. Today we have in the room allies, affiliates, friends, supporters. I want to take a moment to recognize the many different groups that are here, including the Illinois Domestic Worker Coalition, National Domestic Workers Alliance affiliates, Arise Chicago, FIRE, Latino Union, Round of Fire. From the Illinois Domestic Workers Coalition, I want to recognize Wendy Pollack of the Sargent Shriver Center for Lisa Hernandez in the room. National Domestic Workers Alliance Director Ai-jen Poo. We are very honored to be hosted here today by the University of Illinois, and I want to invite up our two hosts today to welcome us to their space. Joe Zanoni and Marcia Love.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we welcome you. We're so thrilled you're here. Our School of Public Health is about the health of the public, and you are the ones that make us healthy. So we're thrilled to have you here, and we want to continue our partnerships around health and safety. We've done a lot of work with the different organizations, and we want to keep doing that work. Here's my colleague, Marcia Love.
We're very honored to have you with us, and we support you in your fight for justice, which you so well deserve.
So good afternoon.
Lisa Hernandez.
It is certainly a wonderful, wonderful day to be here, especially among the most hardest workers in the nation. Absolutely. And I want to first start by saying thank you. Thank you for all you do, because I personally have really, because of you, you have made a difference in my life, totally. And I'll tell you why. First, today I'm here to talk to you about the Domestic Workers Bill of Rights. And this is a piece of legislation I'm very, very proud and humbled to carry, and that is House Bill 1288. Yeah. Yes. So House Bill 1288 will change the lives of many who deserve the dignity and respect of their work environment. Deserve it, you do. When I was first approached about the Domestic Workers Bill of Rights, I was upset to hear that thousands of workers across the state who care for our children and aging loved ones and those living with disabilities and our homes are not protected by laws. And for that, my children are thankful. I am thankful. My husband especially is thankful. So as a state, we need to connect the dots to support working families, those who provide care and those who depend on it. We need to make sure that the jobs of domestic workers have the same rights that other workers have. This is why I am co-sponsoring House Bill 1288. Yes, it's about time. The legislation guarantees house cleaners, nannies, and home care workers with very basic rights, including minimum wage, freedom from sexual harassment, and assurance of a day off each week. This will not only help professionalize the domestic worker industry, but also elevate the quality of care for our working families in our homes. It is a bill that already passed bipartisan in the House. Bipartisan meaning the Republicans and Democrats both voted for this bill, and we hope the same in the Senate. I want Illinois to lead the country in building the future for working. So next week is it's going to be a big week. I am looking forward to the outcome. I suspect that I have a very good feel that this bill will pass the Senate, and then it moves on to the governor. So let's continue our work, because after Illinois, we must continue the work, no doubt. Thank you, and keep up with your doing. Thank you.
This person needs no introduction, but they've asked me to introduce her. 2 decades ago, this amazing woman began organizing immigrant women workers. In 2012, she was named Time Magazine's one of the 100 world's most influential people. And then in 2014, she earned the MacArthur Genius Award. Ai-jen Poo, of course, is the director of the National Domestic Workers Alliance and the co-director of Caring Across Generation. But friends, we all know, all of us in this room, know this woman as someone who has vision and determination and treats everyone like we were her own sister. Sisters and brothers, Ai-jen Poo.
Thank you so much, CJ. We are so fortunate to have you and your leadership and the leadership of so many talented women in our movement, in the domestic workers movement. And a special thank you to all the members and the staff of Arise Chicago, of AFIRE, and of Latino Union, our 3 affiliates. You're organizing and who are incredibly inspired by all of the work and all of the progress you've made here in the state of Illinois. And we were talking about women who are in rural parts of Alabama, doing the same work that you do, feeling ago in cities like Chicago, in Los Angeles, in New York, in Washington, D.C., in Seattle. Domestic workers started to come together in church basements and immigrant community centers around the country. And they put together workshops, and they supported each other. They formed support groups and circles. They gave each other rides to get to work. They supported one another when they faced abuse. and they helped give each other courage to continue on and to start to speak out about the abuse that they were facing. That was 20 years ago. And for the last, no, that was 30 years ago. And for most of the last 30 years, this work of building this movement has been slow and so difficult. How many of you have done outreach to other women to spread the good word about our movement? You know how difficult it is, right? Organizing is difficult. We are so busy and so overworked and overstretched and undervalued, and we have so much responsibility to our employers, to our families, to our communities, to our church members, and yet we still come together. We still organize, and we come to Albany, the capital, where they lobby just like you lobby in Springfield. 7 years of missing days' work, losing that pay, going upstate, sharing your story. Even when you don't want to tell your story another time, you do it, and you do it over and over again. And after 7 years, we had that first big breakthrough, and it inspired domestic workers around the country. And we went from 200 domestic workers in the state of New York. Over that 7-year period, we built a membership of 7,000 domestic workers in New York. And we went from, in 2007, 12 affiliate organizations in 6 cities. Today, we have 55 affiliates of the National Domestic Workers Alliance in 38 cities around the country. And 6 states have passed legislation. When Illinois passes the Illinois Domestic Worker Bill of Rights, we will be at a tipping point in this country. Because between New York, Massachusetts, California, and the other states that have passed this bill, this domestic worker protections, when Illinois crosses the finish line, we will protect the majority of domestic workers in the whole country. From invisibility and vulnerability to power and protections. And that is what this Illinois campaign means. It means the tipping point to actually achieving protections for the majority of our... Slowly you see the close friends and family get on the dance floor, right? And then after you have about 5 or 6 couples on the dance floor, suddenly everybody feels safe to come on the dance floor, and then you really have a dance party. That's what's going to happen with this Bill of Rights. New York was the first. A few other states came along. Once Illinois gets on the dance floor, the whole country is going to get on board. Am I right? Can you feel it? Your work and how it's related to the domestic workers campaign for rights.
So I want to start off with why is this important, the kind of work that we're doing, and then I'll go into my work, because I want to make a connection. I do have a disability. I cannot, this beauty here in front of you, with this hair, right? Look at this hair rocking, right? These pants on, right? Clean, right? All of that is due to an immigrant woman who lives on the far north side of Chicago, and she comes down on the red line early in the morning. Today she was here at my house at 7. She did my week's laundry.
Thank you so much. So again, my name is Christina, and I work with Asian Americans Advance of Justice. But I also used to work for AFIRE, which I think there are some people here. And I just want to say I'm really honored to be in this space. I come from a family of domestic workers. I was a domestic worker for 10 years. On and off going to school, and my mother made this decision after being a nurse for about 40 years, she wanted to open up her own business. And, you know, I thought for her, she told us it was because she wanted to build a business for her family. But later on, I figured out that, you know, behind her starting a home care business, it was because she had really been disturbed in meeting some of her family members who were domestic workers and found that they weren't being treated well. Their employers were withholding some of their documents. They weren't getting paid well, and so she started that business actually to model what home care should look like. And for that, I really respect her, and she's still doing that work. And I know that for her, she understood because she is a nurse, but it's similar to taking care of others, and knows that that work is very hard and it should be respected, and it should be done with dignity for the people who are providing the care and also the people who are receiving the care. And so that's a personal connection for me. Why domestic work is so important to me personally. It's why I'm here in Chicago. I came here, one, to seek out new opportunities for myself, but couldn't do that unless I came here by way of domestic work. In my work at Asian Americans Advancing Justice, which I work very closely with the FIRE as well, what's happening in our state, not having a state budget, there are many services that have been cut, and really, if you look at what this budget looks like, it doesn't provide adequate immigrant services. In fact, I would say it's anti-immigrant, it's anti-Black, it's anti-worker, it's all these things that really hurt organizations, including a FIRE, and I'm sure folks in this room. But I think the light.
I'm Sally Richmond, a community organizer from AFIRE, Alliance of Filipinos for Immigrant Rights and Empowerment. I am a mother, but not a biological mother. I have been a mother to all my nieces and nephews who, since they were babies and until they grow up to have their own families. So that is me. And now I am working as a community organizer. When I came to the US, my first job was nanny. I worked for 16 years as a nanny. And I was lucky to have a rich and good employer who paid me well and provided for me. But the domestic work world is not at all heaven. As I network with other nannies in the park and during playdates, I have heard different stories that plight of the domestic workers. I'll tell you a story which made me so angry. One day I was in the park. One of my babysitter came to me with 3 bags of black garbage bag full of clothes and other stuff. She was teary-eyed and looks puzzled and don't know what to do. I said, "What's wrong? What's the matter?" And she told me that she got fired by her employer. And I said, "Why?" I had said something which she did not like, and she never gave me a chance to explain myself. So she was crying. And so that makes me so mad that she was treated very inhuman. She was not treated with dignity. And so I went to my employer and asked my employer if she can be accommodated in the apartment that they provided me, and so she did. And this is the life of an immigrant. This is the life of a woman. people of color, we are survivors in this country. Especially when one is new and just grab first job that he finds, not knowing that he can be at the losing end, likely to be exploited. If you don't know how to negotiate the industry of domestic workers, you have to do your own negotiations because there is no protection, there is no law for domestic workers. And it could be a one-way interview because as immigrants, this is not our first language. There are language barriers too. So my heart is with the domestic workers because I have worked as a domestic worker for 16 years. I raised 5 children since they were babies, during their formative years, until they are grown up, going to school, and I have to quit already my job. Job is done. But then I have established good relationship with them, and up to now, we are still connected. So I'm happy for that. When I started working as a community organizer of a fire, I heard from my friend Mirla Baldonado, a former staff of the Latino Union, that the Domestic Workers Bill of Rights is being pushed in Springfield, and campaign is going on. That my interest was tickled. When they went to Springfield, I joined them without hesitation. So, and
freedom right. Right? Kasi they want to be free from slavery, they want to be free from discrimination.
Grandparents Association, FAGPA. We are cooperating with FAFAR and all other Filipino organizations who are fighting for their country with all our problems. We're fighting for the care.
My name is Michael Aguilar. I'm the Executive Director of the Alliance of Filipinos for Immigrant Rights and Empowerment, or AFIRE. Today we're here to celebrate all the caregivers and mothers and people in the Filipino community, and to build power to pass the Illinois Domestic Worker Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is asking for minimum wage protection, 1 day in rest in 7, as well as freedom from discrimination and sexual harassment. The bill has already passed the House of Representatives in the Illinois state, and we're hoping it's going to pass next week in the Illinois Senate. We'll be going down there on May 17th with hundreds of other Asian Americans to get this bill passed, and we really need your support because this impacts so many Filipinas and Filipinos in our community as caregivers and nannies and babysitters. So we need you, we need your support, and thank you for coming out and for your support. Thank you.
Videography, editing, and reporting. This is Joseph Gelariosa of the Journal Global Links in Chicago, Illinois.